Did I do it?
Hey, sorry. Totally got cut off because I had too much stuff on my iPad. But we wanted to do this video in parts anyway, so that first part was already like 11 minutes. So. Part 2. So the third question is, if you had to, and I guess this is, well, I guess you could answer it if you're pre-op as well. But the question is, if you had one negative thing to say about surgery, what would it be? So I don't know. So you can answer that however you see fit. What do you think the negative thing about surgery might be, or what you might?
I think it would be what you girls had said about the loose skin.
Mm-hmm.
That would be probably the only negative thing I could think of. How about you, Jen?
I don't, at this point in life, see any negatives. It all looks positive to me. Despite the loose skin and despite the, potential vulnerabilities or the potential, became a righteous bitch or, anything. And it have become, are already. But yeah, no, I see it all as positive. Really, at the end of the day, I'll be healthy. So despite all of that,
it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you hear other people talk about all these complications that they have after surgery, but, I mean, I've been lucky not to have any complications, other than not being able to get all my food sometimes. But so many people say that they would do it again in a heartbeat, no matter how many complications they have, because you're trying to better your life, right? And so far it's working, especially for me and for these girls, and soon for Jen and Sue. And yeah, so I really don't see any negative in this whole journey.
Good. The negative is having to pass on the ice cream and the brownies and the...
I was waiting for somebody
to say that. But that's not a negative.
delicious, ooey gooey, chocolatey goodness, but then you can turn that negative into... You could turn that frown upside down because there are a lot of sugar-free products, which is why we went to the States today.
Yep.
And, a couple of us got some sugar-free chocolate syrup, which...
You did?
Oh, yes, we did.
It was not chocolate syrup, it was hot
fudge. Yeah, I didn't get any either,
I didn't get any of that.
So,
I didn't see that.
I mean, there are things that you can do, and cheesecake, and, I mean, there's things that you can do to get that sweet, but, I mean, when we went to dinner and the table next to us ordered something really gooey and delicious, I had to almost leave because I was going to take
We did leave. We left.
I was going to take a spoon and help myself, and that would have been bad for everybody, so... having to give up in some cases some of the foods that you really do adore can be challenging, but it's a good challenging because you learn, or I have learned, I'll speak for myself, I have learned that I am powerful enough to walk away from it, and I am strong enough to do something that I couldn't do on my own before, and now I can walk away from something that I couldn't before. I may still caress the box of Flakies at the store, but I don't take them home. So that's my negative. Sarah?
I kind of agree. I mean, there's nothing that I would say was negative, especially about the surgery itself. There's some pain, there's some discomfort, whatever. You move on. I mean, I've had 2 children. I had C-sections with both my kids. I wouldn't call that a pleasant experience. I was in pain for longer with those than I was with this surgery, but I got 2 beautiful children out of it, and I feel the same way about this. Yeah, it was a surgery. It sucked, but it gave me a new life, basically. And so the surgery itself, there were no negatives. The journey, I don't really think there's any negatives either. I think there can be negative things about it, but they all have a positive flip side, and anything that's negative is something that you can either fix, you can work on, is something that is going to teach you something about yourself, is something that you just need to overcome. But for me, at this point, I don't really feel like there's really any negatives about having surgery. If someone said to me, would you do it again? The answer is yes. Would you recommend it to someone else? The answer conditionally is yes. I think that mental preparation is really important. You need to be ready to have surgery, absolutely. But yeah, I would do it again. I would recommend it to other people. There's really nothing that I feel is a lingering negative thing about having had weight loss surgery. So, next question. I think this was Michael May's question. Michael VSG. My question is, how much can you eat at one time, and what are your average daily calories? And this is probably an interesting one, because we've got pre-ops and post-ops with different surgeries, so, yeah. Go for it, Sue.
What can I eat now?
Yeah, what can you eat now?
Anything.
How much would you normally eat? Like, do you know what your daily calories are now on average?
No.
Next.
Being honest, no.
Right now, pre-op, I can eat technically anything that I want, but I'm consciously making a decision not to eat everything that I want in preparation for the surgery coming very closely.
May 14th.
On
May
average, I eat anywhere between, I don't know, it depends on my mood, but usually in around 1,000, 1,200 calories a day.
No.
Now, historically, I could, come on. Couple jugs of ice cream. I'm well over that.
Yep.
For me, it really is different every single day, because every single day my taste change daily. So I average, on average, about between 700 and 750 calories a day, plus all my water and all my vitamins and everything that I need. But I mean, there are days where I will have only 400 or 500 calories, or sometimes I can manage 800 or 850. I try to stay between 700 and 800, but it just doesn't always happen that way. But yeah, what was the other part of the question?
How much can you eat at one time? So volume. Yeah.
Goodness. Again, it depends. It really depends. Sometimes I will have like 1 or 2 bites of something, and other times I could eat, I don't know, 7 or 8 bites, depending. It's always different every day.
For me, should probably say that we're really close together, me and Nikki. She's a week ahead of me, so my answer's pretty close to the same. Most days I'm struggling to try to get in up to about 700 calories. It doesn't always work. So really, if I'm being honest, from day to day, it could be anywhere from 400 calories to 800 calories, but probably on average between 4 and 6. And when I creep up to 8, I start to get panic attacks, which I have to kind of work on, because that's a little ridiculous. But and it depends on what I'm eating, so I can eat anywhere from like a bite or two to sometimes a little over half a cup. I don't think there's anything that I've eaten that could accumulate to more than half a cup. There are some things that couldn't be measured properly, but like slider foods go down a lot easier. Things like chili and that kind of stuff, I can eat a bigger quantity of that than if I'm having, say, some kind of steak or beef or chicken or something like that. So quantity-wise, I would say probably maximum half a cup.
So quantity-wise, I'm probably about the same as you guys. I have, from all accounts, I'm 4.5 months out from VSG, vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery, so different from these guys who have all either had or will be having RNY, probably anyway. From what I can tell from other people, I think that I have a very restricted or tight, small sleeve. I still have a lot of restriction. It varies from day to day as well, just like you guys said. Some days I can eat more than others. If we're talking about like a dense protein, like a chicken or beef or fish or something like that, the very most I could even dream of getting in is about 3 ounces. On a good day, it's usually about 2 to 2.5. As an overall meal, again, I probably can't really get in more than 3 to 4 ounces at the very most. That's really pushing it. Something that's a soft food, so like a yogurt or something like that, I could probably do 6 ounces at the most. But generally speaking, I still can only eat very small quantities, and it does vary. Calorie-wise, I am, at this point, usually trying to be between about 650 and 725. I do kind of feel that anxiety when I see that 7 in front of my daily caloric intake. But, as I get further out, as I'm working out more and burning more calories, I feel like I can take in a few more calories to try and get in, enough fuel, obviously, for my body. to use. So that's where I'm at, about 4.5 months out.
We're at 10 minutes. Shall we stop and do another?
Yes, let's stop and do part 3 coming up.